Good morning.
Last day at Episcopal, can you the experience of being here for most of training camp and how you think it worked out in the end?
Yeah, my hat's off to Episcopal for allowing us to, come out here and sort of invade their space a little bit. Our, also to our grounds crew to put these fields down and really a lot of work and a lot of man hours went into getting us over here. From the buses every day to just the timing of everything, and I just can't say enough good things about this situation. The guys have really enjoyed it, kind of getting away from our building a little bit and getting outside here, and it's been really good, and we've been very fortunate to have this.
All right, can you give me the on-the-record thing about Aaron Donald and how you guys stopped him?
First off, a tremendous football player. Got a lot of respect for him, and love watching guys like him because he works so hard at his craft, and he just a tremendous athlete. But yeah, it's hard. You definitely have to have a plan, going into that game, and a lot of times your basic protection rules don't exist, with guys like that. You're trying to put four hands on him if possible. We know that sometimes you're going to have to block him one-on-one, and it just comes down to that. And you try to get the ball out of your quarterback's hands, and particularly on third down, and try to have success running the football, whatever you can do to sort of, can't eliminate him, but try to slow him down the best you can. So it's fun when you play players of that caliber, to scheme against players like that, and then obviously to watch them play. You just hope that he doesn't wreck the game as he did in the Super Bowl this year.
What was the thinking on Malcolm Brown?
We've got some young ascending players, quite honestly, that have really kind of caught our attention, caught our eye. There's some nice competition there with Izzy and Jay and some of the other moves we can do, and so it's just a tough decision. Obviously, we've done this before, but Malcolm was great for this team, great for the room, great for leadership here for the time he was here, and wish him well. And obviously now it's an opportunity that he can potentially get picked up by another team.
You were number 3-4 this year with this defense. Over the course of your career, whether you were with the team the previous year or not, what's been your feel as to how long it takes for any team, any defense to adjust to a new system?
I just don't think it's just the defense. I think the offense, I think the quarterbacks, I think, timing and skill and all that can take some time. These are not, even though this team has been built around the 34, there's some nuances in it because it really plays like a 4-down front. And you're moving parts around. You got Trayvon and Josh who stay left and right. They don't necessarily trade sides. You got your inside backers that kind of stay left and right, and so understanding formation. Some 3-4 teams will actually flip those outside and inside guys, so they're always strong and weak, and it has some consistency that way. But that's the one thing about our scheme here and what Mike has brought is that they can stay on that one side and learn that one side. But again, they're the tight end could be to them, tight end could be away, and then there's some details of just where the front needs to be set, and then obviously the run lanes and the run fits and where the safeties insert, and so a lot of that takes time with just the details and the practice of everything.
Assuming that health is reasonably good through the course of the season, would you expect, because of those circumstances, for this defense to really get better as it goes along this season?
I think so. Yeah. No, I think so. The more they get used to each other, the more time on the grass, whether it's a walkthrough or practice, just being around each other, you can only get better. Training camp too. I mean, you're playing so many guys, and so many guys are in and out of the lineup that you're trying to see everybody and try to evaluate and make an honest evaluation on everybody. One thing I know that and a great example, with Walker Little and Jawan Taylor. When Jawan missed time due to injury, Walker took all the reps, and you saw daily improvement with Walker. So it's no different with an entire unit, right? The more they spend time together and get all the reps, meaning the regular season, that's when you start seeing the real drastic improvements. Are you a final product in September? No. You want to be a final product towards the end of the season. So there's a lot of work to be done.
Doug, I know we're still 2 days out, but do you have any idea of players that won't be available Saturday versus how long you will play the guys that are available?
Yeah, from a playing standpoint, I definitely want to see the starters go into the second quarter again this week. I think our defense needs to be on the field a little bit more. They've played well in the first 2 games. They just haven't played long enough. So I definitely want to see them play a little bit more. Offensively, if we can do the things we did last week and sort of clean up some of the execution things, into the second quarter. As far as guys that are going to miss, I mean, James Robinson, who's been practicing lately, he's obviously going to be out. Devin Lloyd's going to miss. Will Richardson's going to miss. BT Bedarov's going to miss. Who's the other one? Darius Williams obviously still is going to miss. I think that's it, right? Yeah.
Speaking of Darius, obviously we saw him out there one-on-ones. He's been in team drills. What's kind of the projection right now in terms of, is he like 1 or 2 steps away from full go, or is he still being, precautious? Still
cautious. You're still not there from a timing standpoint from surgery, right? And it's a shoulder. So, you got to be careful with that, especially with defensive backs, the hitting, the contact, all the moving parts with shoulders and different things. So still going to be cautious. He's doing extremely well. Same way with James, kind of in that same situation. We're right at that mark where they're almost there, but we still need a few more days.
With James, I saw him do a spin move yesterday on the 1 yard line. I don't know if you saw that. Like, what emotionally, knowing what he's been through since you got here, like what is it like to see that?
It's exciting for us as a staff because, like I said, we haven't other than him running on the side, we haven't really seen him, play football, and other than watching tape last year. So we're excited to get him back out there. Our defense, though, didn't really realize he had that orange jersey on, and they're supposed to not hit him, But it was good to see him make some of those moves and cuts. Again, trying to progress him slowly back into work.
So when he's cleared, though, it'll be full normal workload for him. Like, he's not going to play in the 4th preseason game, I would assume.
Yeah, I don't think you just go full steam ahead. I think you gradually increase his reps, because you don't want to stress his body, obviously. But at the same time, he needs to get enough work where he's, possibly ready to go, for Washington if that's the case.
Is that your expectation or hope that he'll be ready?
It's the expectation. It's kind of the hope that he can be there at that point. And listen, if not, it's okay. We're comfortable with the guys behind him, and we'll go with what we have.
Is he progressing faster than maybe you expected early on?
It is tricky with the type of injury that he had. I've been around offensive linemen who've had the same injury that bounce back fast, than other guys. It takes a little time, But I think in his case, he's on track, But again, we have to be smart as a staff, medically and as coaches to make sure that we don't have any setbacks at this time.
The 7 guys yesterday had heat issues. Was that a product?
Were you one of them?
Was not. I stay hydrated. Was that a product, you think, of not being in the sun for a week? Or do you think it was just that it was super hot yesterday?
I just think it was warm and humid yesterday. I mean, I think it was in the 67 percentile as far as humidity goes. I'm, meteorologist now, but it was warm yesterday.
What was the dew point?
I don't know that part. But it was warm yesterday, and also coming off a day off. We've seen that this year when you get a day off and you try to come back and work. But guys do a good job of taking care of their bodies. They understand. We're playing in the heat and humidity, and we play at 1 o'clock on Sunday afternoons at the bank. So we got to prepare for that.
What do you think of the decision at right tackle, and what else do you need to see?
Yeah, it's really it's an interesting battle. I think this game will be important for both players. And I like how Juwan's responded coming off the injury and how he played last week and how he's practiced. Walker's done an outstanding job as well. So it's very interesting for us, we're kind of in a good spot with it because you can kind of go either way, and the other guy can be the swing tackle or whatever. So I think this week will be important, and then even when we go to Atlanta and practice against Atlanta will be another good opportunity for both of them.
Speaking of Atlanta, how important are those joint practices, and how much can you learn from your team next week?
It's good for us again to get out of here and go somewhere hotter and practice at 1:00 in the afternoon. But it does give you a chance to evaluate. It's game-like scenarios, but under a controlled environment. And Coach Arthur and I have talked, and we've discussed and kind of put a plan together for the couple days that we're gonna work, and that's the thing about it. We got to go up there and work and get some work done. They're going to do the same thing. Starters get quite a bit of time, in those 2 days. It's good again, and really too. There's camaraderie there because our players know their players, and vice versa. We've got friends on staff just like they do, so it'll be good to get up there.
Are you gonna go live up there?
No live. Everything will be thud, tap off. We'll go pads one day, I think on Wednesday, and then we'll be in shells the next.
Some of the strides that Etienne made in pass protection and catching the ball out of the backfield.
Big strides, big improvement. And that's one of the things that kind of, when you don't get a lot of time or you miss time, those are the things that can kind of slip, right? And that's where you need the most work. But he's done a really good job in protection. He's got really good vision, especially when he has to go from left to right with his eyes and being in position to, either block a nickel DB or a linebacker. And then utilizing him out of the backfield. You saw it, I think, Monday night, at that practice, and then yesterday, and how we use him a little bit. And, of course, the familiarity with Trevor really helps.
Doug, these joint practices sometimes have a lot of brawls. I mean, we've seen two of them. We saw two of them this week with Carolina and New England, and it just seems to happen frequently. Now, you talked about camaraderie, but do the two coaches try to, kind of tamp that down a little bit ahead of time so you can get the work in and you don't have to spend 5 minutes clear of the field?
Yeah, listen, it's unfortunate. We as a team and organization, we enjoy practicing against another team. I mean, you do get some good work in that controlled environment, but we're there to work, and that's the communication to the team. For me, is making sure and understanding that that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to get better as a football team, and there's no place for fighting, and we know it's hot and these guys are busting their tail, but we do the best we can to communicate that with them, and we just don't want any setbacks, injuries, broken hands, whatever, in cases like that.
Do you evaluate your players a little bit differently when they're going against guys that they're not as familiar with, and maybe at this point in camp a guy knows the tendencies of some of his teammates because they've seen them day in and day out?
It's a little of both. Even though we're going against each other, there should be some more anticipation with what, especially in the offense and defensive line, or the anticipation of where the D lineman's going, or the anticipation of where the offensive lineman's going. You want to be able to see that get off the ball. Even receivers and DBs knowing, it's like having your own scouting report, every day out here. But again, when you go against another opponent, you're just trying to see the details and the fundamentals of your coaching, how that translates to another football team. We see a certain style of defense every day. Our defense sees a certain style of offense every day. It'll be good to go against two different unique styles, to kind of gauge where the guys are and how much they've retained of their coaching.
From a roster construction standpoint, when you're a first-year coach, do you allow yourself to think that I'm going to be better off taking younger guys who are going to develop versus maybe a veteran who's got 1 or 2 years left?
I mean, there's a fine line. It just depends on kind of where you are maybe at that position and what you need at that position. Obviously, if a veteran player is the guy and capable of continuing on, then yeah, you probably may want to lean towards that. But listen, you know, this league is a young league. It's getting younger. And giving a young guy an opportunity to take the bulk of the reps during the course of the season, just knowing that he's gonna get better as the season goes on. All right, guys.
Thanks, guys.